Season 3 was amazing, no doubt about it, but it did leave us with a few disappointments. Now, a new Bridgerton Season 4 update has us worried about what's next for Daphne and Benedict. That being said, Episode 8, Into the Light, threw us a curveball by introducing Michaela Sterling, a gender-swapped version of Michael. This shocking twist hints that Francesca Bridgerton might be gay, or at least bisexual. So, it got me thinking. There are some key things from Francesca's book story that Bridgerton absolutely needs to keep after the Michaela Sterling twist. Let's break it all down and dive into everything we know about Season 4. Recently, Phoebe Dynevor, who plays Daphne, gave an interview that hinted at some bad news. Bridgerton has been a huge hit for Netflix since its debut in 2020, with 3 successful seasons under its belt and at least 4 or 5 more expected based on Julia Quinn's books. Season 4 is officially in production, which is exciting, but not everything about the show is perfect. One major issue? Daphne Bridgerton, the original lead, has basically vanished from the series. In Season 1, Daphne was the heart of the story, but by Season 2, her role was much smaller. Then, in Season 3, she was completely absent. Now it looks like that trend will continue. In her interview with Screen Rant, Dynevor revealed, "Do I plan to revisit Daphne? Yeah, if they want me back. I haven't gotten the call yet, but I'm available." This pretty much confirms that one of Bridgerton's biggest failures isn't going away anytime soon. Her absence was especially frustrating in Season 3 because she missed both Colin and Francesca's weddings. Fans were left wondering why the show didn't even bother to explain her disappearance. If she was off living her happily ever after with the Duke of Hastings, that could make sense. But Anthony and Kate were also dealing with their own family issues and still made time to show up. Given Daphne's personality, romantic, family-oriented, and deeply tied to the traditions of the Tun, it feels completely out of character for her to miss such important events. Now, with Season 4 underway, it seems like Daphne will also miss Benedict's wedding, making the situation even worse. If the show keeps skipping over her with no explanation, her absence will start feeling more and more permanent until bringing her back becomes almost impossible. The real problem is Bridgerton's lack of communication. Why not just tell the audience where she is? By ignoring her completely, the show has backed itself into a corner. If Daphne suddenly returns in the future, Bridgerton will have to do some serious storytelling gymnastics to justify why she's been MIA for so long. But here's the thing. Bridgerton doesn't have to move forward without Daphne. Dynevor herself has said she'd be open to coming back. While she once suggested she had moved on from the role, her recent comments indicate a change of heart. And honestly, it wouldn't take much effort to write her back in. Even if it's just a small role, like Anthony's in Season 3, she could easily be reintroduced. One simple explanation for her absence: Daphne was pregnant or sick, which would explain why she couldn't travel or even write to her family. If Bridgerton went this route in Season 4, it could at least offer some closure and make sense of why she's been gone. Even though this scenario seems unlikely based on Dynevor's comments, it proves that there are ways to fix this issue, if the writers are willing to. The truth is, Bridgerton's struggle with Daphne is part of a larger issue. The show doesn't seem to know what to do with its married characters. Romance stories thrive on the excitement of the chase, but once characters settle down, they often fade into the background. This has already happened with Anthony and Kate, and now Colin and Penelope might face the same fate. Instead of sidelining these characters, Bridgerton needs to shift its focus, not just on their love lives, but on their growth as individuals. As Bridgerton heads into Season 4 and beyond, it has some serious work to do. Whether it's figuring out how to keep its married characters relevant or finally giving Daphne a proper explanation, the show needs to address these lingering issues before they become permanent. Otherwise, fans might start feeling like their favorite characters are disappearing without a trace, just like Daphne. Now, let's dive into some key elements from Francesca's book storyline that Bridgerton absolutely needs to keep, even after the big Michaela Sterling twist. Every season of Netflix's Bridgerton focuses on a different sibling's love story. Francesca, who is the 6th Bridgerton child and 3rd daughter, finally gets her turn in the book when he was wicked. Her main love interest is Michael Sterling, but before that, she's married to his cousin, John Sterling, for 2 years. Tragically, John dies suddenly from a brain injury, leaving Francesca grieving. Over time, she falls for Michael, who has secretly loved her all along. Now, in a surprising twist from Season 3, Episode 8, Into the Light, Bridgerton introduced Michaela Sterling, a gender-swapped version of Michael. This unexpected change hints that Francesca's love story will now take a queer turn, which wasn't the case in the book. Naturally, this raises the question, what parts of When He Was Wicked will still make it into the show? There are a few crucial elements that Bridgerton should absolutely keep to do Francesca's story justice. One of the most important aspects of When He Was Wicked is the emotional weight John leaves behind. Even after his death, Francesca struggles with guilt over moving on with Michael, while Michael carries the burden of having loved her even when John was alive. This dynamic should still be present with Michaela. John's memory shouldn't just fade away after his passing. His presence should continue to shape Francesca and Michaela's love story, just like in the book. A major part of Francesca and Michael's love story is the 4-year gap after John's death, during which they have no contact. During that time, Michael runs off to India to escape his guilt, while Francesca focuses on managing the Kilmartin estate. While Bridgerton might not show all 4 years, it should at least highlight this time jump in some way. The reunion between Francesca and Michaela should feel like a surprise, with minimal communication during their separation. However, unlike in the book, Michaela doesn't have to go all the way to India. Traveling around Britain or staying away from Francesca for personal reasons would be enough. Plus, Bridgerton avoids glorifying Britain's 19th century colonization, so cutting the India subplot makes sense. One of the most romantic moments in When He Was Wicked happens when Francesca and Michael get caught in a thunderstorm while horseback riding. They take shelter in a gardener's cottage, which leads to an intimate moment between them. This isn't their first time together, but it's the first time they truly connect on a deeper level. For the show, this scene is a perfect opportunity to adapt it from a queer perspective. And that's a wrap for today's video, folks. If you want to stay completely up to date with all the latest movie and TV news, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a big thumbs up. I'll be dropping more updates on Bridgerton Season 4 soon and sharing news about some of your other favorite TV shows and movies. Stay tuned, and I'll catch you in our next video.